Hi everybody, welcome to the workbench. I've got here one of the Hopton wood stone wagons that I showed in a previous video, and I've made this this load for it, which I think looks pretty good actually. So I thought, as I've got this one here, which doesn't have a load for it, I thought I'd want to make the second one. I thought I'd just do a quick video on what I did, just in case anybody's interested, really. So I've got a bag of this, just grey ballast. It says medium grey. But what I found is it's really coarse. Actually, it's a bit too coarse for what I really wanted. So I thought I'd make some loads out of it. So we're going to be using that. Just as a quick side note, if anybody's interested, Hopton wood stone. It's a kind of limestone, very fine grained limestone. It's very marble-like. It's quarried at Middleton by Worksmith, and it's become one of England's most premier decorative stones, and it's very highly in demand. Hopton wood stone's been used for some really important places like the Houses of Parliament, Westminster Abbey, Chatsworth House, Cork Abbey, Oscar Wilde's tomb. So yeah, and in 1994, Longcliffe Quarries Limited and Francis and Lowe Limited of Matlock acquired Hopton wood stone firms, with Longcliffe Quarries as the sole operator and Francis Lowe's as the sole supplier. So that's a little bit of a background into the stone and the company, and let's get on with it, I guess. So here's the wagon, and I've cut for it a piece of polystyrene foam that fits inside quite nicely, like that really. So I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so the piece of polystyrene doesn't need to be particularly flat or what have you, but it doesn't need to go all the way to the top. Mine goes about halfway, maybe a third. So before I get sticking, I put a piece of cling film just over the top of the wagon, just like that. And then I'm going to push the polystyrene in gently, like that, and make sure that there's no sticking out bits of cling film, especially in the corners, things like that. Right then, so that's that bit, and next is the ballast. Right then, so there's the wagon, the cling film and the polystyrene in. But what I'm going to do, just with the teaspoon, really gently sprinkle some in, make sure it goes all the way into the corners. There we go, get a bit more. Doesn't need to be too thick, just a thin layer. There we go. Make sure you've gone all the way to the edges and into the corners. That's what I've done. And then I'm going to put a little bit more in just there, and a little bit more just there, so it looks like there's a bit of a peak at each end. There we go. And that's that. Easy peasy. Right, the next step is to give it a spray with some water, and I've got just an old cleaning spray bottle that we've used up, and I've filled with water, so I'm just going to give that a quick spray, get it nice and wet. There we go. And then I've got just a bottle of PVA glue that's watered down 50-50 with water, with a few drops of washing up liquid in, just like you do if you were ballasting your track. And then all I'm going to do is just drip it all over the ballast load on top of the polystyrene, just like that. And I don't need to worry about getting it all over the wagon, because the polystyrene, the cling film, is between the load and the wagon. There we go, pop the bubbles. Another one. There we go. And that's just a matter of leaving that to dry for a while. Okay, so here we are, we're back 24 hours later, and this has gone nice and hard. So what I'm going to do very carefully is just start to peel out the cling film. Very carefully peel it away from the edge, and then lift the load out. Now the top is nice and hard, but underneath has got quite a lot of damp PVA glue. So before I put that back in the wagon, I'm going to put it to one side, out of the way to dry, because I don't want loads of glue all on the inside of the wagon. Don't want it sticking down in there permanently. So I'm going to put this to one side to dry for another couple of hours before I put it in. So there we have it. Okay, it's really important that you're patient and leave this to dry and let it go good and hard, because this is an example of a practice one that I was a bit eager, a bit keen with this one, and it wasn't quite ready. And if it's not quite ready, it'll stick to the cling film and it won't come away properly, and it'll fall to pieces. So I'm going to soak this in some water and reuse the ballast at a later date. So take your time, and it'll turn out lovely. Okay, here we are, we're back, and the load is fully dried now. All the PVA that leaked through the bottom of the polystyrene is completely dried, and so now all we need to do is just pop it in, just like that. Done. And yeah, I think it looks really good. So I've got 1, 2 with completed loads, and I think they look pretty good. They don't look completely the same. One looks a little bit more full than the other, but I quite like that. I've bought some wagons in the past that have had artificial loads put in that have been, you know, all the way to the top overflowing, and I don't really like that look. So I'm glad they look a bit different, and yeah, they've turned out really nicely. I'm really pleased. I've also been doing these at the same time. Here we are, these are identical, just a slightly different shape, because they're to go in my rake of 21-ton hoppers, and they fit in here just as well and look just as effective, I think. So yeah, keep your eyes out for these on the layout, and yeah, hope you found this enjoyable. I'm sure there's easier ways of making loads, but this is the way I found. Just like using your ballast on your track, I found doing loads like that works really well, looks really effective, and yeah, and it's pretty good. So I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and keep your eyes out for them on the layout. Thanks very much.